Thank you for joining us for the Senior Stars Recognition Celebration.
We're so glad to honor the class of 2020 with today's special celebration.
Hello, I am Patricia McMullen. I am the president of the Bandera ISD Education Foundation, and I've had the honor of doing this since about 2006. We love to celebrate our teachers and our students of Bandera ISD. The Education Foundation is a separate 501c3, and we fund innovative teaching grants. It is fantastic to do this, but we also get to honor the top 25% of the seniors. And many people ask us over the years, why the top 25%? Most places just do the top 10. Well, we're a little different here in Bandera. We like to make it bigger and better. So, with that said, I'd like to wish all of you top 25% the best in your endeavors, whether it be to go off to a job, a trade school, the service, college. I know you'll be reaching for the stars. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is your resilience. It has been tested all your life, but in the last 3 months, it has been especially tested. And with that resilience comes integrity. And I know that y'all all know that integrity is what you do when nobody else is watching. So all of you kids, I feel positive, have definitely reached for the stars, completed your work, and done so knowing that if you didn't do it right, it's not going to do you any good in the future. Y'all are the kids that set the mark for Bandera ISD. So I hope all those little fishies that you influenced this year also reach for the stars just like y'all and get to move on and do wonderful things in this world. So welcome, and I'm going to hope that everybody that you know watches this wonderful video and that y'all get to celebrate amongst each other.
Hello, I'm Jerry Hollingsworth, and I'm privileged to be the superintendent for Bandera ISD. One of the greatest and most grand traditions at Bandera High School is our Senior Stars celebration. While this event is most certainly an opportunity to celebrate the great achievements of the top-ranked students in the class of 2020, it is also a tribute to the strong relationships between our students and their teachers and coaches. While we are not able to hold this event in person today, I want to convey the tremendous pride that our school district takes in this exceptional class of young men and women, as well as the amazing educators who have placed them in a position to be successful. The class of 2020 is marked by quiet leaders who have made the class one that has left an indelible mark on Bandera High. Most will tell you that their trademark is that they have let their accomplishments speak for themselves. It's not necessary to speak too much with words when you're making things happen in whatever endeavor or challenge they put their minds to doing. This year's valedictorian, Samantha Rubalcava, is not only ranked first in her class, she positioned herself to take 6 AP exams this year and was an academic decathlon national qualifier. Our salutatorian is set to join the Fighting Texas Aggie class of 2024, Corinne McMullen. Whether in cross country, on the drumline, or as president of NHS, Corinne has made us proud.
I remember spending most of my freshman and sophomore year in the band hall. In fact, whenever I had free time during class, I'd take a trip there. Whether it was getting stuff ready for marching season or goofing off in the music library, I was always welcomed by Mr. Howell. After a long day, it was a comfort to know that the band hall was still open and that Mr. Howe was there to help with any tricky rhythms. I had always thought that the clarinet was just background noise. That is, until I got into high school and was really challenged by my band director. I never knew what my instrument was capable of until I joined the clarinet ensemble. There was always a difficult section to learn or a tempo that we needed to reach. No matter the obstacle, Mr. Howe always believed in our ability to come out on top. The more I got to know my instrument, the more I got to know myself. I realized that there was more to me than what was on paper. When it came down to it, I could be creative, outgoing, and a great leader. Mr. Howe helped open my eyes to a different side of myself, and for that, I will forever be thankful.
Coach Frye has been one of the most influential people in my life because she always strives to be the best version of herself daily. She inspires me every day and pushes me to be my best self as well. After being in one of her classes, I learned how to be ready for college. But after being her aide twice a day and NHS president, I learned what it truly meant to be prepared for life after high school. She taught me a lot throughout my high school career: organization, time management, leadership, and much more. However, none of it would matter if she hadn't taught me how to be a better person through patience, compassion, kindness, and most of all, tough love. Sometime in this last year, my friends started saying that I was a mini version of Frye, and I took that as a compliment. She is an amazing teacher and an even better role model. She's been a person that I could lean on whenever I needed her most. Between weighing my options for the future, stressing about all of senior year responsibilities, or simply having a shoulder to cry on, she's been there. I feel blessed that God made her my teacher so that she could help lead me down the right path.
It takes a lot of tenacity to endure the strangest spring semester in the history of school, and this class definitely has that. Independent, highly self-motivated, and creative, Caitlin Watson has a heart of gold and committed to continue as a Bandera Lady Bulldog even after her family moved away. This tenacious Bulldog stuck with us, and we're really glad she did. Speaking of creativity, Carson Brzezinski was not only the business manager for Yearbook, she was also one of the driving forces behind the building of our outdoor classroom. When it seems like it takes forever to heal while you're wearing a boot, I hope that each of you has the same great attitude as Gabrielle Leyva did. We're so proud of Gabrielle and our BHS softball team. Focused, determined, and as consistent as they come, another softball Bulldog, Jamie Whalen, will take her talents to Texas A&M Corpus Christi this coming fall.
Hello, I'm Caitlin Watson, and my most influential educator is Coach Frye. Coach Frye was one of my teachers during my junior year. She taught me AP US History and AP Psychology. She's also one of my NHS sponsors and a coach during the athletic period. With my AP classes, she loaded more stress on me than any other class that I've had before. But she taught me healthy ways to cope with stress and not allow anxiety to seep in. She made learning about our nation's history very, very interesting, and she helped me develop my passion for psychology. Through the National Honor Society, she gave me opportunities to give back to the community I was raised in and practice selflessness, just like she does as an educator every day. Although she's never coached me directly in a sport, having her as a coach during the athletic period was always very enjoyable, and it was always something I look forward to. Her influence on my education has been tremendous, but the way she's touched my life is indescribable. She has always showed me love and compassion whenever I've needed it most, and being my mom when mine wasn't near. She always challenged me to be a better athlete and kept me accountable. And above all, she is one of the most hardworking, creative, empathetic, and generous people that I know, and I am so glad to have her in my life. Thank you so much, Coach Frye, for making such an impact on me, and I just love you so much.
The educator that has influenced me the most in my life is my mom, Miss Brzezinski. My mom has always been there for me. She is someone that I can always turn to and count on for advice. Ever since I was little, my mom has had my back, and she's always been there to support me when I was going through a hard point in my life. She inspires me to be the best version of myself, and she never fails to make me smile. She has taught me to learn from my mistakes and use those mistakes to grow as a person. She's never afraid to be honest with me, and she's taught me to never back down for something I believe in. She has made sure that I know I can always talk to her about anything, and she'll listen without judgment. Having my mom as a teacher at my elementary school was a great experience. Seeing my mom so passionate about her job has been a motivation for me to find a job that I am passionate about as well. My mom is truly one amazing woman, and she's the reason I'm the person I am today.
Coach Bodis believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself. Since my freshman year, he had me as a starter on the varsity lineup. He counted on me in some tight situations, which meant that I was required to learn how to control my anxiety on the field for the sake of my team. He was an amazing coach, but he definitely was not easygoing when it came to practices and games. I had some of the most hardcore practices of my life in the 3 years that he coached me, but it only made me better. He pushed us to be the absolute best that we could be, and every single one of us would have done anything to make him proud. When I broke my ankle last season, he hopped right onto the ambulance and rode to the hospital with me. He even sat and waited in the room with me until my parents could get there. None of this surprised me, because I knew that he loved each one of us like his own. He was like an additional father figure to me. A tough father sometimes, but like I said, it was all out of love. It was hard not to have him coach my final year of softball, but I'm so glad that I got 3 amazing years full of hustling, learning, and laughing.
I'm not going to lie, when I think of you, the first thing that comes to mind is you yelling at the team so much some girls would cry, and my PTSD I still have to this day about running poles after a game. During my first year of high school, you terrified me so much. You were one of the most hardcore coaches I had ever met, and I was intimidated more than I had ever been before. But little did I know that you would be someone that I would have such a strong relationship with for the rest of my life. You have become my second dad, and I would not be where I am today without your passion, love, and work ethic with our team. You did not just coach us on the field, but in life. I could go to you for anything, and you would answer and love me with such compassion. I knew it was real when you were one of the only people who could make me cry, because I respected you so much and I knew you had pushed me harder than any other coach has before. You did this because you saw me. You saw me for who I really was and who I was inside. You knew that the more you pushed me, the more I wouldn't be able to break when tough, difficult things showed up in my life. Looking back at the terrible times during the seasons and the days I just wanted to give up, you cared for me more than any other coach has. When you told me you were moving, it hurt me so much, knowing that the one coach I wanted to be involved in my senior year would be gone. But that was one of those tough, difficult times I was talking about. I wondered if without you I would be able to play the sport I loved without you there, pushing me to be the best. But I knew you were rooting me on all the way in Hamlin, and always will be for the rest of my life. You have truly made me a part of your family, and you believed in me limitlessly, and I will forever be grateful for you in my life.
Hard work and brains are 2 of the calling cards of the BHS 2020 class. The editor of the 2019 award-winning yearbook, Holly Polk, is not only smart, she's quite a witty one, I'm told. Emmett Evans exemplifies a strong work ethic and apparently has an amazing memory. What's more, the Vice President of National Honor Society also knows his way around the kitchen. Another A&M bound Aggie, Anna Freeman, is an avid reader who excels at powerlifting and volleyball and always expects the very best from herself.
Doing daily questions and asking our answers, sharing his stories of the day, and doing coin flips when we disagreed with him were just some of the ways that Coach Lalanne allowed us to share our voices. I've never had a teacher who completely gave up a day of teaching just to talk to us about our futures or our questions. I've known that I want to pursue law, but I wasn't sure exactly what path I wanted to take until I took AP Government. I remember at the beginning of the year, I was talking about wanting to work in the White House, and the bell rang, but Coach Lalanne said, "Stay here, I want to hear what you have to say." He's always pushed us to do the most that we can, providing us with different college and scholarship opportunities, but also understanding when we may have a tough day. One of the hardest days for me this year, I was sitting in an NHS officers meeting, and just by offering me the rest of his Christmas gift from Coach Frye, of a bottle of Dr. Pepper, my day got even a little better. Overall, he has helped me create some of the best memories of high school and has led me to what I will do professionally, simply by genuinely listening and sharing.
So my first memory of Coach Michael Widener, it was the first two-a-day practice of my sophomore year for football. We'd had a ton of new coaches, kind of like every year, and we knew it was going to take a while to get to know them all, a couple days usually. But in that little gym, I immediately figured out who Coach Widener was. Something was a little bit different about him. He had an iconic voice. He was funny. He had an energy and compassion when he spoke. And he just had a lot of love for us. And we could see that in his eyes and hear it in his voice when he talked to us. And, and this was the first day. But in that little gym, he sat us down and he said, "Listen up, boys. Things are going to change around here. And I don't say what I don't mean. I believe it. You better believe it." And he told us on that first day we were going to love each other no matter what. And we were going to grow into men, and we were going to change the culture and how we function in our daily lives. Really, it was all just about effort and growth and becoming a better person, making yourself into a man. And I really do think that Coach Widener did the best job of making me and other people into men. And when we had that little speech at the end of it, we broke out, 1, 2, 3, and we said family at the end. And he said, "You better not just say it, you better mean it." So, Coach, when I say I consider you my family, I really do mean it, and I love you. Thank you.
I had Coach Lalanne as a coach for 3 years before he was my teacher. He cares about forming relationships with students. He is very funny and makes me laugh, and often makes my days a little bit better. He has shown me how to enjoy playing golf even when I am not doing well, and I hope that as I go through life, I can continue to look on the brighter side of things as he has shown me.
Elena Swan bleeds Bulldog Blue. She is highly spirited and kind to all she meets. Whether on the soccer field or on the drumline, she always gives her all. A willingness to help runs deep in the class of 2020. This is certainly true of Kaylee Dykes, who is described as super friendly and as a fighter. Kaylee's always willing to pitch in for others. And don't let her quiet demeanor fool you. Miriam Mendoza is a genuine go-getter who's been a member of the yearbook staff for the past 2 years. With brains and a high level of musical talent, All-State Choir qualifier Ethan Ellingson is another highly driven 2020 Bulldog.
Dear Miss Huber, my freshman year I was very intimidated by you, and you definitely knew that. Every time I'd go up to ask you a question, I felt your eyes target on mine, and when I tried to speak, my voice would tremble, I wouldn't project loud enough, and I couldn't get myself to look you in the eyes. You've been here with me since the beginning of my high school career, when I truly fell in love with performing. And here we are, the only 2 things I went to school for this past semester, theater and speech, gone. You helped me fall in love with the art of becoming somebody else. From a zebra to a preppy high schooler, a Barbie to a 6-year-old little girl, an assistant director to Princess Isis, a girl that wished she were a mermaid to the concussed me that wished she wasn't. From Pinhead number 3 to Virginia Poe. When I look at you, I see the person I aspire to become. So, I wanted to thank you for always telling me that I can, and for showing me every treasure that goes hand in hand with working hard. You've taught me to not tremble, to proudly speak up, and to look my dreams in the eyes and not be intimidated by them.
I wanted to be in the medical field my whole life, but until Miss Stewart's class, I never thought I could actually make those dreams come true. I remember even on the first day of school in first period, Miss Stewart was so excited to be teaching. Anatomy and physiology was my favorite class that year, and I enjoyed learning from her every single day. She is the teacher who proves to students that they can do whatever their mind sets them to. With every assignment, test, and project, she encouraged us with words of motivation. That's the kind of teacher who makes me want to succeed. Because of her hope for me to be excellent, that's exactly what I strove for. My junior year was a hard year, and I will never forget Miss Stewart asking me almost every day if I was okay. That was probably just routine for her, but it meant the world to me. She showed me what a great teacher is. She cared about every single one of her students, and that is only one of the things that makes her outstanding. She inspired me every day with kindness and enthusiasm, and I hope when I grow up that I'm even half as great as she is. Thank you so much for everything you do, Miss Stewart.
In the 14 years of my school career, I had never had a teacher like Miss Cunningham. When deciding whether to take advanced courses, I would always be hesitant due to the uncertainty of whether I'd get a teacher that would actually be passionate about the subject. This was not the case with Miss Cunningham. When I was able to take pre-calculus with her, I became in constant awe of how wonderful of a teacher she was. The structure and consistency she provided throughout the course allowed me to learn better and grasp every concept well. Every day she taught us true discipline when it came to putting our all into our education, and this pushed me to work harder and expect more from myself. Whether it be by constantly reminding us of how important studying for math is, or making us take everything we did seriously in that class, I can truly say she has improved my discipline and responsibility skills. Some days I would walk into her class with no motivation to learn, but when she would get us going, I would become so engaged that I would even lose track of time. The skills she has taught me are simply ones that I will never let go of throughout my entire career. Thank you, Ms. Cunningham.
Mr. Zavorka has been the most influential teacher of my years at high school. As a teacher and as a coach, he has been there every step of the way. He put up with my shenanigans and expected the best from me. Some of my favorite high school experiences have been with him. Thank you, Mr. Zavorka. The years will pass, but you will always be my teacher.
Another shining example of athleticism, kindness, and smarts is Jordan Edwards. Bound for the University of Mary Hardin-Baylor, this cross-country star and soccer captain has also been an exceptional leader for student council. Her classmate, Andy Garcia, always has a good morning for all he meets and has shown great commitment to FFA and becoming quite a welder through his dual credit pursuits. Another athletic and warm member of this class is Caitlin Thrasher. Quite a runner, this volleyball-playing, cross-country two-time champ finished the state meet with a broken leg. Now that's something our editor-in-chief of the BHS yearbook and highly intelligent NHS member, Alexa Vada, might have wanted to write a feature story about.
One of my first memories of Miss Irvin is taking a picture with her on the first day of 5th grade. We were both wearing long sundresses. I'm pretty sure mine was green and gray striped and hers was like a floral print. My mom took the picture of us and she was another 5th grade teacher across the hall. I don't really remember what else happened that day, but I do know that it was the start to a really great year. Miss Irvin's class was self-contained, so we got to know everyone in the class really well, and I'm still besties with some of the people that were in my 5th grade class. It's really wonderful that we could all think back and relive some of the awesome memories that we had with her. I could always tell how much she cared about our experience at school. She wanted us to not only soak up as much knowledge as possible, but to have a really good time while we did it. She read us a book called Grossology, and it's about all the gross but really cool things that happened in our bodies, and it was so funny and so hilarious every time. We also had really great history lessons. Her passion for history showed me how cool it can be, and I also now have a really huge interest in history. She was also my teacher again in middle school for English, and it was a double dose of awesome. I'm so thankful to have had an educator like Miss Irvin.
I chose Mrs. Patowski as my most influential educator because she has really impacted me throughout high school. She has pushed me to strive for excellence in everything I do and be the best person I can be. She always had the best advice and made going to class every day really fun because every day she had something new for us to do. She is a great teacher and I have really learned a lot from her.
God knew exactly what he was doing when he brought Coach Ashcraft into my life, and if I'm being honest, he probably gets tired of hearing me thank him for her. She has been a major part of my life the past 6 years, and every minute I spent with her, she made sure I was learning. She's taught me everything I know about running, but has taught me even more about life. I learned how to be a hardworking, selfless individual by simply watching her. She has shown me exactly what a coach should look like, and she is the reason I want to be one. She has always supported me in every aspect of life, not just running, and she loved me the same when I was forced to hang up my running shoes. She pushed me through battles nobody else knew I was fighting and did so while dealing with her own. She's let me tag along on her coaching adventures, and she trusts me with her girls, which means a whole lot to me. She and her family will always hold a very special place in my heart. Coach, thank you for some of the best years of my life. My future is so much brighter because of you.
My name is Alexa Vara. Mr. Smith was my 4th grade teacher at Carson Elementary School in San Antonio, Texas. He's the first teacher I had that gave me a reason to wake up excited for school and learn new things. His humor and nonstop positivity brought me a new love for school I had never known before and always left me excited for the next day. Mr. Smith's teaching style allowed us to all have fun while staying on track, and I was always determined to do my best to impress him. He never gave up on my abilities and gave me a love for science and learning that I had never known before. There were days he would bring his guitar into class and play Van Morrison's Brown-Eyed Girl for all of us, and although he was my teacher 8 years ago, there are still things that will always remind me of him, like sharks in the state of Iowa. He's the only person in the world I let call me Lexi, and I'm forever grateful I had the blessing of him as my teacher at such an important developmental point in my life.
The class of 2020 has been pushing harder and making great things for a long time. Consider Elena Garcia Estrada. This academic high achiever barely spoke English only 2 years ago, but now this family-oriented and loyal young lady is recognized as one of our most accomplished graduates. With a laugh that fills the room, Amy Jower can dig a volleyball and build you a house too. The house she builds may be tiny, but her bulldog heart is as big as they come. Another multi-talented graduate who has made quite a mark is Zachary Widener, who can not only sing, he acts. He participates in FFA, and he's recognized at a state level both in the classroom and on the field of play. With a smile that lights up a room and a fantastic talent on the basketball court, Anna Guajardo is one highly involved Lady Bulldog who will not be forgotten at BHS.
Miss Jones has been a person who has always helped me when I need her. She is one of the few people who, when they believe in you, will help you without thinking twice. And that is what I admire most about her. Throughout these 3 years that I have been at Bandera High School, many times I wanted to give up on many things. But Miss Jones was always there to remind me that I could do it, and she always did it saying a phrase that I will never forget, and that phrase is, "Don't give up, because you know more than you think you know." And when she told me that, she always made me think that at least there was someone who did trust me and my ability to achieve it. I think at the end of the day, she was right in everything she said to encourage me to keep going, because I never imagined that I would be part of the top 25%, and today I'm here. I will always be grateful to her for having believed in me and for all the support she gave me during these 3 years.
When my classmates and I learned that we got to choose an educator in our lives that has impacted us the most, I noticed that a lot of my peers had no idea who they were going to choose. However, that was not the case with me. I immediately knew that my #1 draft pick for the 2020 Influential Educator League was Coach Lalanne. Coach Lalanne is exactly the kind of person I hope to be one day. He strives to be the best role model, coach, educator, and friend that he can be in and out of the classroom. And he has the patience of a saint, which is essential for dealing with my golf swing and classroom commentary. He shows that he truly cares about every one of his students, and I am so grateful that I had such a great leader and coach supporting me through my time at Bandera High School.
Hello, my name is Zachary Widener, and the special educator I chose to honor is my dad, aka Mr. Widener. If you haven't had the pleasure of meeting my dad, Mr. Widener, there are 3 things I can pretty much tell you about him to sum him up. 1. He has a way with words. Whether it be his metaphors about crawling in the sewers and eating rats to survive, or the way he reaches us with his inspiring speeches, he has taught me, along with so many others, the value of what it means to fight for every inch in life, to make it count, and never give up. 2. He has a talent of being outstandingly stubborn. And even when we fight over him eating all the ice cream and putting the container back in the fridge, I know I still would not trust anyone more to have my back. And even though many have disagreed in his frank coaching style, he has taught me to be a better man. Finally, my dad's passion not only for what his job is, but for the kids and the lives he gets to impact every single day. For my dad, he knows that his job is much more than just training kids to get stronger or faster. It is to give kids hope, to challenge them to be more than what they already are, and to push themselves to be more than what they think they can be. So, I just want to say thank you to the man who never gave up on me and raised me, my dad, Coach Widener. Love you.
Senora Torres is not only an educator, but also a linguist, history teacher, dancer, partier, and lastly, a hardcore Mexican mom. She is exemplary in all she does. She holds all of her students accountable to the same standard of expectation, and her set bar is high, but attainable. As an AP Spanish 4 student, I've learned a lot from her. She has taught me many life lessons and have shared many lively stories about her past. I look up to Mrs. Torres because of her love of language and people, and for keeping me motivated to endure senior year. I'm especially grateful for all of the many memories of laughing until I'm crying in her class. Senora Torres has been a great example to me and has helped me become the person I am today. I love you so much, Ms. Torres, and I'm so thankful for you and your legacy that you left with me.
Gage Brown and Gunnar Brown will be remembered at BHS for being all about Bulldog pride and their involvement across the board in athletics, baseball, football, soccer, and track. Their mullets were made legendary in a pretty amazing pep rally too. As an officer and team captain for the 4th and State BHS esports team, Griffin Morsey is a one-of-a-kind character who is known for his technical genius as well as his hijinks in some teachers' recent Zoom meetings. And Taylor Brown will not only leave his mark academically, he's an exceptional artist with a state qualifying masterpiece to his name.
I wrote my letter to Mr. Pizzini. I met Mr. Pizzini my freshman year when he was my mech teacher. From then on, our relationship grew. He taught me so many things, from how to weld to working hard and always having fun, no matter what you did. I see Mr. Pizzini as almost a second dad. Throughout my 4 years of high school, he is by far the teacher I've spent the most time with. From long road trips to stock shows and cheap hotel rooms, to state convention and most importantly, the ag shop. We spent a lot of hours working, and I have a lot of great memories because of it. I look up to Mr. Pizzini so much, and now that I've graduated, I can call him my friend.
When I was asked to choose an educator that has impacted and influenced me throughout my years of schooling, I knew it would be a tough decision. Numerous teachers and coaches ran through my mind, and I didn't think I would be able to decide. However, I started to think about who I spent the majority of my time with and who taught me most of my life skills. Don't get me wrong, sports teaches you very important skills and lessons that will better me in the future. Then again, so does the FFA and ag classes. When I was a freshman, I was put in Ms. Barkowski's welding class and also her teams class. As some of you might know, this was her first year at BHS and also her first year as an educator. If you knew me, then you knew I wasn't very outgoing or social as a freshman. Ms. Barkowski, on the other hand, was the complete opposite. That year, she put me on the skills team with my brother and Andy Garcia. What she did during practice and competitions molded me to come out of my comfort zone, and because that, I don't sweat when I talk in front of people anymore. Ms. Barkowski means so much to me, and I don't know where I'd be without her.
Mr. Curlin has, since my sophomore year, been the most influential educator in my life. Through what I can only assume is a mixture of God-given patience and a natural talent for putting up with me, he has managed to mentor me through 2 years of computer science classes and computer science UIL. This is a man who has been able to look past my many mistakes, from getting negative scores and being unreasonably startled by a traffic cone on the same day, to see that there is a student in there who's trying his best to learn what he can. Mr. Curlin's influence has reached out past the classroom though. He has become someone that you can just talk to. At this point, I would consider him more than a teacher, but a friend who can boss me around.
Although this was only his first year here, Coach Bagby has had a huge impact on me in a great way. He is a great coach and an even better guy. He is always kind and always has a smile on his face. I really wish I could have finished this track season and got to know you better. And I will be happy if I can become the same kind of guy that he is. I will also never forget Special Teams Carousel for the rest of my life.
In baseball and track, Wiley Despain had a lot of followers at BHS, but there aren't nearly as many in our small town as he has on TikTok with over 224,000 tracking his latest creation. Then there's Brianna Salone. She's a natural leader in Ready, Set, Teach, who we hope to add to our staff in a few short years. One class of 2020 quiet and witty young talent is Cassandra Rangel, who is committed to excellence not only as a student trainer, but on the soccer field as well. And then there's two-time academic decathlon national qualifier Hannah Bates. Always willing to help her team be their very best, she was also a regional qualifier in UIL journalism.
Throughout my 4 years of high school, Coach Widener has by far been one of my most influential educators. As my football coach for my first 2 years of high school, he taught me the value of hard work and dedication on the field and in the weight room. He always pushed us to be our best. Although his influence on me didn't come from the classroom, the valuable things he has taught me on the field have carried over into the classroom in my everyday life.
Charlotte Spikes is not just a teacher. She's my family, and I will always love her. She pushed me to be better, to do my absolute best, because she believed in me, which in time made me believe in myself again. At 14, I was dealing with a lot of personal stuff, and I just stopped caring. I stopped caring about everything. My grades, my friends, my family, even books. And I'm a really big reader, and I always have been. But I just couldn't bring myself to care about any of it anymore. Mrs. Spikes noticed my withdrawal. She reached out to me because she cared about what was going on. I wasn't acting like myself. I was a completely different person, a person that I hated. And for a while it was like I was me, but I wasn't, because I was so stuck in my own head. Mrs. Spikes was the person that brought me back to reality. She gave me something to care about again. I am here today as part of the top 25% of our class because she cared enough to not let me give up. I was so close to letting it all go, to just never trying again. But here I am because she cared then and she cares now. I share this night with her. This is our accomplishment.
Coach Martinez has had such an impact on my life. He came to this school and has changed, I would say, almost everyone he has come in contact with. He is such a joy to be around because he will make you laugh and cheer you up if you are down. If something is bothering you, he will try to help, and he's an all-around great person. He pushed me to try to get into sports medicine again. When I got in, it was kind of like a catch-up game for me. But with his help and new opportunities, I came to say I'm pretty good at it now. I know a lot is pushing myself to do more and watching and learning from him at any chance I have, and it has actually paid off. When I don't totally agree with everything he says and does, I know Coach Martinez is just looking out for me. He will always want the best for everyone. It's a shame I am graduating this year because he has been honestly one of the best teachers or coaches ever. I hope he knows the impact he has had on me and that he can see it. I know now there is more for me to do, and I know the steps to get myself there because having Coach Martinez here made me see that so much clearer. Thank you. I am very appreciative of all you have done and what you have taught me.
If it wasn't for Mr. Zavorka, I know for a fact I wouldn't be standing here today. This man has influenced every aspect of my life, and I'm grateful to have met him. He's pushed me to be my absolute best, taught me how to study, how to care about my grades, and 100% prepared me for college. But more importantly, he's taught me how to believe in myself. He was there for me when it felt like no one else was. He's become someone I can look up to. When I met Mr. Zavorka, I was a very shy, introverted, quiet girl who had absolutely no self-confidence. He's pushed me to break out of my shell and become someone I'm proud to be. He's held my hand through every moment the last 3 years, and I'm genuinely sad I won't see him every day after I graduate. No one deserves to be recognized more than Mr. Zavorka. He's such a blessing to the school and is horribly underappreciated. He genuinely cares about his students and is never afraid to put in extra work to see them succeed. He's a terrific teacher.
Kind and determined to be great, Elena Puckett is a fantastic example of a 2020 grad. She distinguished herself not only in the classroom, but as the best ever kind of student aide to our school nurse. Maybe we'll have a job for her someday too. Smart on the soccer field and as a two-time state qualifying debater, Addison Utter is another tenacious bulldog with big things in her future. Then there's Addison's teammate on the soccer field, Dominique Sadler. Dominique is a world traveler who speaks multiple languages. Actress and artist Heather Palmer has demonstrated her academic prowess by taking a wide array of BHS's most advanced courses.
Influencer that has had a huge impact in my life would be my soccer coach, Westley Miller. Coach Miller has been my soccer coach for the past 3 years now. He has taught me how to grow from my failures, pushed me towards my goals, and directed me back on track when my personal life was falling apart. My favorite memory with Coach Miller would be the first time we started soccer practice this year. My heart and dedication towards soccer was wavering heavily. I didn't have a drive to participate in any activities in school at all. He pulled me aside after soccer practice and asked how everything was going. If I was doing alright and if I needed someone to talk to, he'd be there for me. Knowing someone cared and was affected by my decisions really changed my mindset about what I wanted to do this school year. Coach Miller had made me a better person by helping me find my goals when I didn't realize I had them. He has always pushed me to do my best and has helped me achieve the goals that I have set for myself.
Of all the classes that I thought might help me understand and be a part of society, forensics was not the first I had in mind. Although I only had Coach Molina as a teacher for 1 year, he had taught me a lot while also making school a little more fun. For most of my life, I grew up with the idea that teachers are to be held with the utmost respect, but never as someone who could understand and talk to their students on an equal level. Over the past semester, I wrote down some of the life lessons he taught since they came so frequently. Some of my favorite ones are, those who fail to prepare to fail. Facts don't have feelings. Wash your hands. And a pistol is only a tool used to buy time to get to a real gun. Thank you, Coach Molina, for not only making both my forensics class and enrichment so enjoyable, but also for helping me push harder in athletics than I ever thought I would.
In short, Bandera High School's class of 2020 is known for some pretty amazing folks. People like lunchtime Uno master Aaron Dupree, who is a musically gifted guy too. An accomplished welder and soccer player, Jose Tirado not only works hard, he is always looking out for his family. This class is full of young academicians like Belle Hoover, who has been an active member of theater and has never been afraid to do her own thing. And Jared Heidelberg, who is a standout in UIL academics and an inaugural member of the BHS esports team.
I chose Mr. Hell because I've known him for so long. Even before I went to the high school, I helped out with the band program due to my older brother being in the band at the time. Since then, I've learned that Mr. Hell is one of the kindest and most caring teachers that I've ever met here in Bandera. Any other member of the band program understands. If you had any concerns, Mr. Howell would be there. If you had any issues with something, he'd find a way to work something out. Throughout all the years of him teaching, Mr. Howell ensured that each individual student was taken care of, and that we were happy to be a part of his band. From him, I learned how to care for other people, make the right decisions, and try to be as loud as possible at the football games. Every student that he had may have not taken to his caring nature, but I did. And I'm happy to have learned from a very great man. Mr. Howell sought out the happiness of children. And I'm here to say you have succeeded in doing that, sir. And it is also why I'm proud to call you my most influential teacher.
Been a very good 4 years of high school, and I wanted to say thanks to Mr. Pizzini. He's been a very big influence in my high school career. He showed me that in order to be successful, one has to work harder than one wants to. He also taught me very valuable life lessons. He taught me to weld, very big life lesson. He's been very helpful. He's helped me out during my high school career. He's also one of the biggest role models in my high school career. He's very hardworking, and he's taught me that the world doesn't mold a man molds himself. And I wanted to say thanks to him for being a very good teacher and having me for 4 years of high school. Thank you.
The first few days of school are what set us all off on our different education journeys. However, before getting into geometry or sentence structure, you learn compassion and togetherness, and you learn to get what you get. My parents were both in the Army, and I would recite the pledge with every bit of my patriotic heart. I distinctly remember looking up at my kindergarten teacher after the pledge one day and saying, "I love you." She said she loved me too, because let's be honest, what else could you say to a big-eyed 5-year-old? This moment stayed with me, and in 5th grade, I made her a Valentine's Day card along with the other 26 from my class. I skipped to her room and handed it to her when she told me nobody had remembered her so long. Now this new moment stuck with me, to this day, because it taught me that there is nothing too small to make an impact. Thanks to Mrs. Layton, I've been able to cherish my time with those I love and always consider those who are too often forgotten.
The educator who has most influenced me is Mr. Curlin. He has helped guide me on my way to reaching my goals and shaped who I am today. He is my favorite teacher because he likes to have fun in class, and that helps keep me engaged in a subject that can seem boring and monotonous. I first met Mr. Curlin my sophomore year of high school. I had him for both geometry and computer science. His way of teaching made both subjects easy. I had him again for computer science too. The class was very difficult compared to the previous one. I started doing UIL for computer science that year to help with the class. Mr. Curlin ran the computer science team as well, and it made the class a lot easier for me since I was able to work with him to learn more and understand it better. During my senior year, I spent a lot of time in his class every day. I enjoyed every moment of it. He has helped me form the path towards my goals of becoming a game designer. He has told me about the things I would have to learn, where I can learn them, and what type of jobs I can get. Without him, I don't think I could have had such a clear path.
I'm grateful to be a part of today's celebration of our senior stars. No group of young women and men has better exemplified what it means to be a Bandera Bulldog. Thank you for leaving our district a better place because you walked our halls. Finally, I want to express my deep thanks to Mrs. Patricia McMullen and all the members of the Bandera ISD Education Foundation Board. Without your support, not only would this event not be possible, but the educational experience of each of these graduates would not be nearly as rich and rewarding. Thank you.
All right, everybody, this concludes our event. Thank you for watching, and I hope that y'all get to watch this as many times as you like. That's the good part about it being virtual. Bye, everybody.